Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Trusted, timely, tradition.
Well, the farm economy is always under a microscope, and when it comes to tracking the health of agriculture, there is a monthly survey of farmers, even one of ag bankers, but nothing that taps into the expertise of leading ag economists. That's why Farm Journal is teaming up with the University of Missouri to introduce the Ag Economists Monthly Monitor. And as we show you this weekend, commodity prices may still be strong for crops and cattle, but high production costs could be a heavy weight for ag even throughout 2024. A new survey of nearly 50 ag economists from across the country launched this week, giving a glimpse into where leading economists think the ag economy is heading.
I think what's most surprising here is that on average, those more than 40 economists roughly are in alignment with what the more general perception of where agriculture is headed. What surprised me is the amount of volatility around that average estimate.
Scott Brown of the University of Missouri helps author the Ag Economists Monthly Monitor. He says the group of economists were carefully selected for their expertise, making it the first of its kind.
I think this is unique in that it's the only one I'm aware of that's actually looking at agricultural economists' perspectives on what's happening in the farming economy.
He says the economists also span across a wide geography in the U.S.
We're talking about reaching across livestock economists, crop economists, whether that's cotton or corn and soybeans or milk or hogs or cattle. So we're getting maybe a little broader perspective.
The first Ag Economists Monthly Monitor shows that economists have a waning outlook on the ag economy.
Number one, production costs staying high. We saw that a lot in the answers as to why folks felt like we were going to continue to move lower in terms of that financial health side of the index. Maybe a little weaker demand, both international export demand in some cases, as well as domestic demand, maybe slowing down a little bit as the economy has been growing a little more slowly. Higher interest rates were mentioned several times.
Economists varied on expectations for commodity prices over the next 2 years, but the majority of economists see corn, soybean, and wheat prices trending lower both this year and next. A big question mark right now, the weather and the impact on crop yields. But economists think the current USDA estimate of 181.5 trendline national yield may be too far-fetched at this point for corn.
The average yield estimate on the corn side from this survey was a little more than 178 bushels an acre, with the downside of 175 in terms of the low end of that. Likewise on soybeans, right at about 51 bushels per acre, below where USDA would currently see both corn and soybean yields. I will say those are going to change quickly as we look at weather and what's occurred since this survey would have gone out roughly a week ago now.
Economists were bullish on beef prices, expecting a cut to cattle inventory in USDA's upcoming July inventory report, with the possibility of cattle prices to hit higher highs.
They talked about fed cattle prices in 2024 that would annual average of $181 per hundred. Some saying we could get pretty close to $200 per hundred for an annual average. That's just prices that we haven't seen ever in this industry.
The economists may have been bullish on beef, but the optimism quickly faded when talking about dairy and hogs.
Every cost category was higher, yet this demand side may be weakening. And I'll even say internationally, it's been a little slower in terms of growth in front of us. It's that combination of slower demand coupled with expenses that stay high that has really put the squeeze on those two industries in particular.
The biggest question mark right now may be weather and the impact on crop yields and feed availability. But Brown says he's also interested in watching the broader trends as the new survey gets underway.
What's July look like relative to June in terms of that overall general health? I'm curious to watch as this group of experts continues to digest what's happening in agriculture.
Now, talk of a recession has also been on economists' minds for now a couple years, and the monthly monitor shows not all economists even agree on that. The monitor found the majority of economists today somewhat disagree that the U.S. will enter a recession this year, but several somewhat agreed that a recession could still be looming yet this year. All right, when we come back, we'll dive into our marketing roundtable discussion with Mark Gold and Joe Vaclavic. That happens in just 2 minutes.